This is Mudbum from twitch.tv/Mudbum, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Sorry about that, guys. Hi, this is Mudbum from twitch.tv/Mudbum, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast. The show was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. And remember, as Abraham Lincoln once said, if you're not clenching your cheeks, you're going to have a sore back for weeks. Take it away, boys.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with both having decades of hosting experience under their belt, the one thing we are sure of is you will be entertained. This is the Escape Pod Cast, a weekly look into the mobile game Star Wars: Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the Nerdy Network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast.
Welcome to Season 7 of the show!
Yes, and as we said last week, thank you for the wonderful 3.5 years.
Crumb's hint paid off with the announcement of Skiff Gaurd Lando.
And we're going to go through the kit and see what that might lead to.
And we will also talk about the calendar that was announced.
And where I think the profundity is actually going to fit, Neil.
When might be the last requirements for Jabba be announced?
Oh, and by the way, is anyone else getting horrendous territory war matchups?
Our guest this week is the new co-host of Old Man's Cantina.
Yeah, we talked to the founder Logan a few weeks ago, but Cain is scheduled to join us to talk about his viewpoints.
Are they free to play?
I don't know, Neil. They're a baby account, though, so maybe. We'll see.
Fair enough. Do we got stuff on the bridge?
Of course, we're already locked and loaded with a few questions for Patreon's choice.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Escape Pod Cast. I'm your host, the Nev, and as always, I'm joined by my hetero life partner and friend, Paul Anthony. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing
evening?
okay. It's actually a it's actually supposed to be a relaxing day today. Craziness for me tomorrow with work, but you know, it's what I sign up for, being able to do what I do. So I'm excited for that.
Okay. Yes, I'm having a chill weekend. So
Excellent. Well,
I will be streaming.
Oh my gosh,
well,
you're gonna stream.
I am definitely gonna. Yeah, I have been I've been out to sea recently. I just have.
Well,
totally adrift.
We're definitely gonna be excited to see that.
So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I mean, I technically did stream round one, but I was doing a late night stream I was with Ranger on Wednesday. It's like, oh, you know, so I started. He's trying to close the show down, and I'm looking at looking at the matches. And I asked Ranger about a counter, and I shared the screen, and I ended up doing the GAC.
Nice.
So yeah, but yeah, no, I'll do. I will put the effort in tomorrow to do a proper one. I've only got one thing that I need to do tomorrow, so I'll do that. And
there
then,
we go.
Yeah, stream.
Finally.
Yes, finally.
Well, we had well, first off, Bob, are your vocal processors working right now?
Yeah, I think they are.
Okay.
They're good to go.
Bob, how was your weekend?
Great. Personally pretty good, but in the SWGOH world, I'm ecstatic because things I've said I wanted in the last few months to a year are actually taking effect. We got Skiff Lando, and
It's just Skiff Gaurd. Why does everybody keep putting Lando after it? He's just a Skiff Gaurd.
Lando with parentheses or whatever it is.
No, that only works.
He's undercover.
If you don't that name only works if you do not know that it is Lando Calrissian in disguise.
Well, I don't know that it's Lando Calrissian in disguise.
If you were blissfully unaware that was Lando Calrissian, you'd be like, yeah, you'd be making the same argument. Yeah, it's just a Skiff Gaurd. It's just a Skiff Gaurd. But it's like, but we know.
I don't know
Lando
that.
Calrissian is wearing the costume, the uniform of a Skiff Gaurd. And
his name is just Skiff Gaurd. They have, parentheses don't matter.
You say potato, I say potato.
We'll call him Skiffy. How about
that? Skiffy. Oh yeah, no, that would work.
So we might as well get into it here. Skiff Gaurd is a light side. I don't know how he could be light side if he's a Skiff Gaurd for Jabba the Hutt. He's an attacker, Hutt cartel, scoundrel, and smuggler. Smuggler? What is... I don't know why the Skiff Gaurd would be smuggling anything, so...
He smuggled himself into Jabba's palace.
Yeah, and he it's Lando Calrissian. He's a smuggler. He's one of Han's
not
smuggler
Lando.
buddies. He's always...
It's just Skiff Gaurd.
It's Lando.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the joke. He's light side attacker, Hutt cartel, scoundrel, and smuggler. He works best in both Hutt cartel and scoundrel factions. He'll synergize well in a squad with the Galactic Legend Jabba the Hutt, and defense penetration helps him do consistent damage. Exactly, Darknar. If he's Lando, why is he Hutt cartel? So we're gonna get into the kit itself because Thaddeus from Going Nerdy goes into the whole lore behind them. So we'll let's get into this kit, and this is a pretty nice one. If I do say so myself.
If you do say so yourself,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, his basic deal physical damage, and he gains a stack of deep cover for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied. Similar to how Inquisitors purge, but a buff to himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he has deep cover, he has defense penetration and potency to the effect of plus 10% for each stack. Cutter Vibro Axe, which is his first special. Cooldown of 3. Deal physical damage to the target enemy. The attack gains 10% defense penetration and 20% offense per stack of deep cover. So, with 5 stacks, that thing is doing 100% defense penetration.
No, 50%, but 100% offense.
No, so it's deep cover plus 10% defense penetration, and then
and you can only get 5 stacks.
Right, but this attack gains 10% defense penetration for each stack of deep cover.
Yeah.
So what that's saying is plus 10% for each stack. So that's 100%, 50 for the ability, an additional 50 from deep cover itself.
Oh my, yes. Sorry, you're absolutely correct. The previous one also increases. Yeah. So it's 10 and 10 times 5. Yeah, it's 1. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Stevie B, good to see you. By the way, he says Lando's name when he was undercover was Tamtel Screech. Was that a fact you knew, Neil?
I don't know, but I have a new book that can tell me.
You go look that up while I'm doing the kit thing here, or why don't we put our AI to work?
Yes, let's put our AI to work.
So Bob,
Yes,
get
I'll
on that.
All right, I guess I'll do something.
And Double Durgan, always good to see Durgan. Do you think when the Sarlacc grabbed Lando's leg, it left skiff marks?
That's funny because the real meaning of skiff is something totally different.
20% offense per stack of deep cover. So, I mean, that's 100% offense plus 100% defense penetration. And it also will have plus 50% potency on this part. If he has 5 stacks of deep cover, inflict target enemy with 2 stacks of damage over time, and armor shred, and a 50% chance to have the cooldown of Vibro Axe refreshed.
Oh, do you know what makes me? What are his tags again?
Hut Cartel, Scoundrel, Smuggler, Attacker,
Right, okay.
and Light Side, of course.
Yeah. No, my first thought was, my God. Imagine what he'd be like if he had the Rebel tag and he was in a CLS team with Han and Chewie.
Oh, that would be.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That just the prospect of something like that is mouth-watering.
Yeah, but no Rebel tag, no Bounty Hunter tag.
No.
I mean, the fact that it has a
still going to work with bounty hunters though, because bounty hunters are scoundrels.
Depends on the leader, but we'll get in. And his attacks don't count for the contract for most leaders.
Yeah.
The fact that it has a coin flip, just like Greedo, it has a coin flip chance of being able to be used again.
Mm-hmm.
That's just asinine. Special 2.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, Special 2. Covert Coordination with a cooldown of 3. It does have a Zeta. It dispels all debuffs on he has a cleanse on a target other ally. Grant stacks of deep cover to the target other ally equal to how many Skiff Gaurd Lando had. So he is passing the defense penetration and he's passing the potency to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If target other ally is Hut Cartel, they gain retribution and speed up for 2 turns. If the target other ally is Dark Side, they gain defense up and health up for 2 turns. If the target other ally is Light Side, they gain potency up and stealth for 2 turns. Then call them to assist, then grant them a bonus turn.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Dr. Feelgood
Very
says, can't wait not to use him in this special Java node coming soon to Darkside TB, since it's light side. That's very, very true. But but remember, it's going to be on both sides. So it's going to be on both sides of the TB. So what that says to me, Neil, is that we may end up getting a neutral tag for Jabba so he can be in either TB. I'm really thinking the neutral tag finally hits the table.
That's a stretch. That is a stretch. I mean, we've come up with calculated guesses on this for quite some time. Every now and then we, hit the nail on the head. It's
I just think they're gonna.
The question then becomes what. I just don't see how they can mesh dark side and light side mechanics sufficiently good enough that it would be worth. I mean, it could be a complete flop, and then it's like, oh, neutral. sucks, you know, because I don't know. I'm very torn. But I will say that having the flexibility of using of having a GL that you can use in either TB would be extremely useful. Especially for getting, you know, those 4 out of 4 waves. So
well, no, I'm just saying that Jabba the Hutt is going to, remember, he's going to have his own node in every TB. And I swear if they put it on the bottom node of the bottom track during light side territory battles in slot 4 in phase 4 or slice 4. Oh, I'm going to be so upset.
Don't. I was about to say, don't say it out loud.
I'm going to say it out loud because I will have a reason to bitch.
No. I was just thinking, you know, yeah. Don't say it too much because then you know you'll jinx yourself. So touch wood or something quickly.
Well, this desk is hardwood, so I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. And so that was.
So he also does have he has a granted ability and a unique ability as well.
Yeah.
So his unique, by the way, no leader. He's no leader because he's just a Skiff Gaurd. Has an Omicron. It works in territory wars. Skiff Gaurd has 15% defense penetration. So he already has 15. He uses the other so it's 115% defense penetration. It's definitely going to penetrate defense entirely. Now, I don't think that adds anything to the attack. It just ignores the defense number. So you could go to 100% defense penetration, and that's, you know, it wipes out the defense stat. You can't take away any more. You won't get a harder hit on defense penetration. Want to make that clear because some people were arguing about that in another server that I was reading. Allies with stacks of deep cover have defense penetration and potency. Additional. At the start of his turn, Skiff Gaurd Lando gains a stack of deep cover, which can't be copied. So he starts getting deeper and deeper cover. If all allies were cartel at the start, he gains 5. He starts with 5. Hutt's favor will be granted to him at 5 stacks. It's another attack. Deal physical damage to target enemy and consume all stacks of deep cover on Skiff Gaurd. The attack deals 3% of target enemy's max health per debuff on them. This is a Malgus killer. Skiff Gaurd also gains a stack of Trusted Agent for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Plus 30% defense, penetration, and offense for each Trusted Agent. At 1 or more stacks, attack again when performing a basic attack.
Oh, nice.
So he now has 2 attacks, and those 2 attacks gain him a buff of it's. I mean,
it's OP. He is going to be OP at relic levels.
He is.
Get some offense on him. Oh,
and that to me says that Jabba's going to do debuffs too. Jabba will be debuff heavy, especially because I don't see him in his little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms actually doing anything with a weapon.
He might throw Salacious Crumb at him.
We that was said in episode 16 when we talked to Carrie. We said, "Oh, and a great special attack would be Salacious B. Crumb being thrown from Jabba the Hutt, or he becomes a summoned unit. So, you know, and you only get one move. That's the name of it. So, I mean, this is definitely it's going to be the engine, I believe, of Jabba. What are
Jabba's going to be the engine, that fuels Lando. He has to be there, putting debuffs out left, right, and center. I'm wondering if they make him neutral, will they also make him like a Mon Mothma or a Wat Tambor? No actual offense, except for some massive damage for the ultimate, because Jabba the Hutt doesn't do the hurting himself. If you catch my drift, Jabba doesn't do the hurting himself. He has lackeys to do the hurting.
Right.
For
That's
him.
why I'm thinking we're getting a summoned unit with it. I really think it's going to be a summoned unit.
Yeah, I mean, how about if you're talking about a summoned unit, how about summon Boba Fett? Boba Fett was one of his. Boba Fett did work for a time exclusively for the Hutt cartel.
So did a lot. There are a lot of the scum and villainy that Darknar is saying would all bounty hunters and scoundrels get neutral because of the criminal underground. I personally would love to see it, but it depends on the character. Boba Fett, Scion of Jango? No. Light side, 100%.
I can just see like two of his abilities being to put, mass buffs on his team and mass debuffs on the opposition team, and maybe, summon a guard. And it could just be it doesn't matter. It's a random character, and it fluctuates between a handful of different Hutt cartel employees, and they just get summoned, shoot, and go away. And then obviously an ultimate that is either Rancor or the Sarlacc. But something like that, buffing Lando and simultaneously putting loads of buffs on the opposition, you can use Lando and just pick them off, Oh, yeah.
Think
good.
back.
Very good.
Think back to when we were, when the territory wars had themes and, they were changing it up to where, all hands on deck and all that stuff. What if what if you were facing a Jabba team? What if they did that again? You're facing a Jabba team and Boba Fett gains the ability, if dropped into the Sarlacc pit, to emerge.
Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing: that there's lots of interesting things that they can do with Jabba, and obviously, I can definitely see this Skiff Gaurd Lando taking advantage of that. But it'd also be nice to see a little bit of synergy between, his loyal employees. I mean, Greedo, Boba Fett, Dengar. Basically bounty hunt, because not all of them, because you've got to think of that there are bounty hunters from across multitudes of different eras, Star Wars era, so it would only be bounty hunters from the same era as Jabba, but some synergy there would be pretty awesome as well.
Bob, what did you find out about Lando's name? Was that true?
Hamtel Screege was the alias taken by Lando during his stay at Jabba's palace. Under this name, he attempted to earn Jabba's trust by participating in Crime Lord's demolition events, using one of Jabba's Bantha cargo skiffs as his chosen vehicle.
There we go. Thank you, Wikipedia app that's installed on Bob.
Yep, right in my brain. Before we go to the break, who's the next marquee? Bib Fortuna or is it Bush Leia?
We're going to get into that. Don't worry. because we have
Stay tuned.
we have the Job of the Hutt Set 2 requirements to talk about as well. We might as well take this break. It's a short break. After we come back, I will do a quick live readout of Patreon GA Center or GA Center Patreon leaderboards because I was not able to get the all the stuff was not working to record it for some reason today. So I don't have that, but I will do it live coming up after these messages right here on the Escape Pod cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
We want you. Join the GAC Chain Gang today. This is the commander of the 506 Procrastination Battalion and the leader of the GAC Chain Gang. I am sending out a call to action for any SWGOH content creators on Twitch who would be willing to broadcast their GAC attack rounds. We are an amazing group of content creators who are dedicated on streaming the Grand Arena Championship attack rounds on Twitch. The idea is to provide continuous content back-to-back from one streamer to the next and allow the viewers to enjoy more SWGOH content, as well as enjoy the variety of streamers that are currently present in the group. If you are interested in joining the Chain Gang, please reach out to myself on Discord at AndyBees, #7465, or you can send us a message on our Twitter page at ChainGAC. Join us today. We have your back.
You're listening to the Escape Pod cast.
And welcome into the Patreon leaderboard brought to you by the Patreons of the Escape Pod cast. Are you not a Patreon and would like to be on GA Center or a GA Center style leaderboard, just like the content creators that Nev and Ranger talk about on GA Center? Well, sign up at patreon.com/theescapepod at the cover combatant level or higher, and you can join. This is a live read, ladies and gentlemen. D, 300 banners, and he also messaged me and said, I'm probably hanging up SWGOH. D will not be disappearing from the support of the show, but he is definitely stepping away, so he will no longer be on the Patreon leaderboard. D, thank you very much for all your time on that. We do appreciate you. Dr. Jojo, I don't have it in front of me, but essentially he said, so much for not doing anything. Only 2,796 banners, but he still manages a 2-1. Force Strong goes 1-2. I went 1-2. And Hot Sauce goes 0-3.
Ooh.
With
Top at the top.
With Sephiranus going 2-1. He, by 2 battles, ends up being the champion of the Patreon leaderboard this season. 7-2. Dr. Jojo and Force Strong both at 5 and 4. Me sitting at 4 and 5. And Hot Sauce and D at 3 and 6. Once again, thank you, D. We should have Bodhi and Anakin joining for next month of the Patreon leaderboard. So, there you go. Welcome back, Nev.
I went 1 and 2.
You went 1 and 2?
Yeah, I went 1 and 2.
Let's see how you did. I still have you up here. Let's see.
Yeah, I went 1 and 2.
You went 1 and 2. 36-38 is your total banners.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you remember I did a sneak attack. I did a sneak attack right at the start and put 10 banners on the board. And then my opponent knew that, and then left it until all day. They did one attack thinking, this guy's not turning up. That's why he's in the booby match, the losers versus losers match. And he just did one battle, and then literally in the last 10 minutes, I just used my 4 best teams to attack his 4 weakest teams.
Well,
and
overall, you're 3 and 6. That's the crazy part. You're 3 and 6 for the 3v3.
That's the first time that's ever happened. I used to love 3v3, and I used to be quite competitive in it, but it's just gone off a cliff for me. 5v5, I'm still doing fine on.
I'm
Bob's
namesake.
I'm 8 wins in a row on 5v5.
Bob's namesake, Bones, went 5 and 4, Neil. He went 2 and 1 last week. He had more banners than you, and he's in a lower division.
Yeah. Lower divisions get easier matches.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No.
Obviously.
He's actually in Kyber 3 as well. I'm sorry. So he's with you. Didn't you get relegated? Shouldn't I have put Kyber 4?
I always get the weird thing is I always get relegated at the end of 3v3. And then in the first week of 5v5, I get myself promoted straight back to Kyber 3. I won round 1 of 5v5, and I got promoted straight back to Kyber 3. It happens every single time. So 3v3, I get relegated to Div 4. And then as soon as 3v3 starts, I get myself back into Kyber 3, and I'm doing well. And then boom, straight back to. So I'm just bouncing backwards and forwards between Kyber 3 and 4 at the moment, which is weird because I've got an Ultimate C now, Ultimate J. So I've got 2 GLs with Ultimates, and I've got Star Killer. And it's just in 3v3, it just ain't working. It just is not working at all. So yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
All right. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I am going to right now remind people that you need Kersantin at Relic 5, Han Solo himself at Relic 8, which, by the way, I took him to Relic 8. Gamorrean Guard at Relic 3, Outrider at 7 stars, and Greedo at Relic 6. We already knew that. We knew that we're going to get another marquee. And that's going to be a needed character for Jabba. So, of course, Skiff Gaurd, Relic 5. Brand new character, Relic 5. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, Relic 7. If you've gone for Jedi Master Luke, you've already got it now. But also, note this, Neil. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker being Relic 7 now adds C-3PO, Hermit Yoda, Chewbacca. It adds more requirements.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, of course, Jawa Relic 3, Relic 4, and C-3PO Relic 7 on C-3PO. By the way, Dr. Feelgood and Cascade, thank you very much for resubscribing. And Zoltane1 and New Mania 22, thank you for the follows during the show so far. Thoughts on the second set, Neil?
Second set of what? Oh, the second set of requirements.
JKL, Jawa, Aurora, and 3PO.
I look positively at the level requirements for the relics. They are they're moderate. They're in the middle. They're not too high. That makes people nervous. about
the Jawa and
spending the
Aurora.
resources.
Yeah, Jawa and Aurora aren't crazy, but
Yeah, seeing Relic 3 seeing Relic 3 requirements are wonderful because a lot of people have a placeholder level for Relic characters. Mine was always Relic 3. So, if I didn't think I was going to use the character, I absolutely hate taking characters above Relic 3 that I really don't think need it and don't want to, do. I literally just take my characters to the Relic level for requirements for things like going for GLs or, stuff like that. I really don't like, unless it's good. I don't like taking it beyond it. It's yeah. It's like GK. It's like GK Kenobi to Relic 8 as a requirement. You're like, yeah, well, that's a character that I would have took to Relic 8 anyway, because so a little bit like that.
Von Ader says JKL was probably a typo to be Relic 8. No, it's Relic 7. Mm-hmm. It is verified Relic 7.
Relic 7, and who doesn't take their JKL immediately to Relic 7 upon getting it's like one of those standard characters that you take to 7. You take gas, you take to 7. It's just you take it to 7. If you can take it beyond, you will, but 7 is like the sweet spot. So you've got JKL and there's a bunch of other characters that are that sweet spot is 7. Starkiller, for example, Mara Jade is another example. There are just these really, really sweet characters. Yeah. So I think I like that requirement because I like requirements that I've probably already got. JKL being Relic 7 is pretty sweet. It's just, it's good for those that have it, not good for those that don't have it, because then you've got all those Relic 3 characters that you need to do. In order to, it's probably one of the longest. Definitely, it's one of the longest GLs. Trying to go for Jabba, if you were to start a day 1 account and try and go for Jabba the Hutt as your first GL, you are on a very, 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 very long journey. Because the amount of legendaries that were required for JKL were nuts. And, and yeah, so
Von Ader says no, he meant from the start and it just got by everyone, so they're just gonna run with the fact that it's Relic 7. I like that idea. New Mania, one of our new followers, says I'm good with all the Java requirements so far, just nervous that the third set is going to be nasty. We're gonna get into that. I mean, let's jump into it right now. So we could talk about it now. I mean, the one thing that we haven't seen yet, and that we do tend to see, when you think about it, is the ship element. GLs do tend to have like they
one
already have,
ship.
They already have the Outrider.
Was the Outrider part of the first set?
The first set, yes.
Oh, yes. I see it here now. Outrider, 7 stars. So, all right. Okay. So we're not going to get a nasty ship surprise. That's one less thing to be worried about. That's good. That's out of the way.
I'm bringing up Hot Cartel again. So looking at the characters, we haven't seen yet Boba Fett, Cad Bane, Greedo, and no, we have seen Greedo. We haven't seen Embo. And we haven't seen Mob Enforcer. Dengar's not Hut Cartel in the game.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the characters we haven't seen.
Strange.
The characters we haven't seen are the Gamor. No, we have seen the Gamorrean Guard. The Mob Enforcer, Embo, Cad Bane, and Boba Fett. Those are the
Mob Enforcer. Here's the thing: they've already done Jawa and they've already done Aurora, right? So they've already given 2 characters that all right. The Aurora and the Jawa have the advantage of being in a faction that makes them slightly better. I mean, what faction could you put the Mob Enforcer in at a relic level and actually get anything good out of a relic level?
Well, Gamorrean Guard's already a Relic 3 requirement.
Yeah.
So why not those 4 plus Hondo.
You and your Hondo. Oh.
What do you got, Bob?
It's not going to happen. It's not.
I don't think it's going to happen. I want it to, but you all know that I think it's Bushleia. But why not bid for Tuna? Do you think we'll get one or the other as a marquee and one or the other as a conquest character?
I mean, we should get another marquee regardless. Simply for there being there's usually at least one marquee in each of the 3 stages. Sometimes you get 2. Then some GLs have 2.
Well, I thought we knew there was going to be 3 total. There was something that said in one of the road aheads there was going to be 3. I thought
it just said there was along with another marquee. Let me see if it said actually.
So it's not 5. It's not. We just got to be thinking about that. The 4. 4 characters that are going to have relic. I just hope that they, maintain the level of relic 3s. So at least make 2 of them relic 3, 2 of them relic 7, and 1 of them relic 8. That to me would be reasonable, right? Or even bring it down a little bit less. 2 3s, 2 5s, and 1 8. Or 1 7, something.
But there's got to be an R9. If there was an R9 in Profundity, we're getting at least 1. I feel like there's going to be 2, but
okay. Cursant, when they were talking about Cursantin, they talked about this. Cursantin will be one of several upcoming marquees that directly support the Hutt Cartel flag, and these marquee units will be requirements for Jabba the Hutt while working exceptionally well with Jabba as the leader. Newmania saying no R9 requirement. I believe there was. Hang on.
No, we haven't had a relic. We've had a relic 8.
Oh, we had
relic.
We had relic 9 for the profundity for Radis.
Yep. So we're having an R9 probably next. Now I had a question: is there 3 sets or 4 sets of requirements total?
3.
3.
Okay, so we're almost done then. All right.
3 sets.
Newmania, thank you for the subscription, and also Cass, thank you for the 100 bits. Appreciate you. If anybody does something in the next 30 seconds, we have a hype train.
Chew effing chew. Come on.
Probably not gonna happen. But it's it is a. They say those marquee units. It could be 2. It could be 3. So could we get another marquee? I don't know. By the end of September. I'll push it out. Till the end of September.
No, we should. We should get another one. I don't see why not. It has to come. How long was the gap between set 1 and set 2?
So set 1 was given to us July 20th. Set 2 was given to us August 17th. So if we kept that same thing, September 13th. Ish.
Something mid-September. Yeah. Something mid-September.
Something dark side. So September 14th. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, mid-September sounds about right. So if we get the requirements mid-September, we would get the 3rd marquee before that date.
Because they need something for people to rush out and spend on. So they got to release something soon, and then they release the GL.
They already will. And do you know what that is? I am calling that the Profundity will be on the 1st of every month. That is my educated guess. My reasonings are as such. We get Advanced Fleet Mastery, the Executor, on the 15th.
Mid-month, every month.
On the 15th itself. Now, all dates don't have a 31st. All months don't have a 31st. All months don't have a 30. Unless they do 15th and 28th, I'm honestly thinking it's going to be the 1st every single month that we get Profundity, and going to be very surprised if we don't have information on the profundity within the next week and a half.
I agree.
Yeah, and it'd also be good if they make sure that all of the ship farming requirements shards are in the stores, so that people that want to go for profundity can actually get the requirements, because they shot themselves in the foot with making the Razor Crest a requirement for the Executor, and he hadn't come out of yes. I farmed all the ships. The ship was a requirement for the Executor. It was harder to come to the game and get those shards, because it was a conquest gated shard, so you had to be doing conquests. And obviously some of the newer accounts, AP Gaines had this issue that he couldn't farm for them. He just couldn't farm for them. I hope that. What are the ship requirements for profundity again? Do you know them off the top of your head?
Give me a moment. State of the Galaxy down at the bottom. Ship requirements for. Oh no, shoot, that wasn't the profundity. Yes, it was.
Bob,
okay,
here we go. Can you access that?
Outrider,
I had it.
Outrider, Cassian's U-wing, Biston's U-wing, Wedge, Biggs, Rebel Y-wing, and Ghost.
Okay, so is the Outrider's farmable now, though, isn't it?
I already have it at 7 stars through farming.
X. So good. So they're not making the same mistake with the profundity that they did with the Executor, which is good news, because you know, I mean, obviously it's not an issue now because they realized the error and put Razor Crest in fleet currency shop.
Here's the thing.
There's no error to correct for this.
People say they don't cater to new players. I mean, this is a very, very new player friendly grind. If you're going for it, have fun.
You can farm for the character, you can farm for the crew of the ships, and you can farm for the ships as well from that store. So yeah.
And you can get R9s now out of the shop, so you can do it today.
Yeah, that was another thing. You can get Relic 9 material in the weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
just got to have a big enough wallet.
Or being ultra good at the game and getting your crystals.
Yeah. That requires a high division in GAC to make it. It's not economical enough when you're down in those lower divisions. When you're just starting, it just doesn't happen. I mean, ask Christy how many free crystals she gets on her baby accounts.
I'll definitely have to do that. The Bunator says, or budget the crystals with the current fleet arena 400 a day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate. My account. I'm an old scrote to the game. I'm a day one player. So I got into a fleet shard when they first brought it out. So my fleet shard is like really, really old. You know, OG players, original players, just and so it's easy. I've been able to get number one on my main account for ages now. Yeah. Number one every single time if I go for it anyway. The executor meta straight away. Boom. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, good that they didn't screw the profundity the profundity requirements up. So and it's always a bonus, because you'll work on the crew for those ships as well. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I decided to go down the JMK route in the first place. Because I was looking through the requirements for JMK and I'm like, okay, that's all right because I use that there, and that's all right, and that's all right. And I got to the clones because obviously there's two clones in there, the clone sergeant and Echo. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I can have 5 clone troopers together again. And the clone sergeant does have a ship in the Galactic Republic, which just makes him, it just makes your Galactic Republic fleet a little bit tougher, doesn't it?
Here's something to think about, though. They're not required, but if you want to get everything out of this profundity ship, you're going to have to relic all your Phoenix, all those other side kind of crappy Rogue One, too. They're not required, but if you want to get everything out of it and possibly compete with the Executor, you're actually going to have to put a lot more into it than it looks.
So once again, that's another way to get money out of the whales before Jabba comes.
It's not going to get that much, though. I know what you're saying regarding the investment in the crew to the requirements, but I can't see people going overboard in that sense. Even if profundity is an executor killer, because there are, you've got the first order counter, and you've got the mirror counter. So those who are a little bit more tighter, like myself, I will not be going for the profundity immediately, because I don't think it's going to have as much effect to the meta. I don't. I genuinely don't. Yeah, we'll see. That's not to say I'm not going to be watching it and looking forward to seeing it, in action. I just think that there's going to be a lot more people like me just stepping back, thinking, let everybody else do it first and see if it's worth it.
Phoenix will be needed for something when the Ahsoka show happens, is what Thaddeus says.
Is that what Thad? Oh yeah, Phoenix will be needed for CS.
Yeah.
Go. It's Mike Zero's in the house. Everybody, Mike Zero,
the SWGOH version of Mike Zero.
The SWGOH version of Mike Zero is in the house. Everybody.
So Bob, what are you thinking? What's we haven't revealed who we think the Marquis is going to be. You say Boush, Leia, or
Yeah,
or
I think there's going to be one more Marquis. I mean, there might be 2, but something tells me just 3. I mean, remember Bad Batch, the entire Bad Batch except for Omega, which was 4. So we might get 4. Was needed for LV, but it has to be Boush, Leia. It has to be. I don't know who else would you want. I know everyone's saying Slave Leia. First of all,
they're not getting metal bikini Leia. I'm sorry.
If they put pants on Talon, you're not getting Slave Leia. And the word slave, they changed Slave One's name. Remember, Disney owns the stuff now.
They didn't change Slave One's name. They reference Slave One differently as just Boba Fett's starship. It's still is called Slave One.
Okay,
it's still called Slave. Yeah, it's just Lego being politically correct. It was just one company. It was one thing on one company. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for that you don't change. I get very, very annoyed when they change law and things like that. But the whole Slave One, Boba's ship. It wasn't that they changed its name or removed it. They simply did not print it on the box.
And they did the same thing.
Guess what? It is actually on the instructions as Slave One. So it was just it must have been a slow news week because it was blown out of all proportion as far as I'm concerned.
Here's the other thing: they did not. They changed another ship's name. Lego did way before this. Do you know what it is, Neil?
Lego? Are you sure Lego changed the name for something?
They
just emit it?
They changed the name on the box. The same thing that happened with this.
Oh right, okay. But that has happened quite a lot. It does happen a lot culturally.
Yeah, the name Soulless One. They changed the ship of Grievous to just General Grievous's starfighter.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they have done this before.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. Think people, companies and organizations do this kind of thing all the time. Did you know that the studio that made you know the show, the Brendan Fraser movie with Pauly Shore, Encino Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the UK, the movie is not called Encino Man.
It's called
California Man.
Of course, because we know
Encino. We don't know what Encino is. You know what Encino is, but in the UK, it's like, no, we don't know that. But we know what California is. So it's like, well, give them a state name. They'll know that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I remember that.
Where did we mess up, Bob?
And
also we need to give our Neil. What are you thinking that the marquee character is going to be?
I'll go with the weak way. Bib Fortuna.
Okay. Wait a minute. Bib Fortuna's a weak way?
I thought there were two. I thought weak ways were two different types of. It was a planet that was a bispecies.
Okay.
The weak ways are the guards.
A bit like
look
it up.
Just check.
A bit like Mon Calamari, you've got two types of Moncals.
If they give us a weak way, quote unquote, and it's not Hondo, damn it, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
No, I'd have to check my law, but I just think that was something that popped into my head. I mean, I could be wrong. Bob, check me. What alien species is Bib Fortuna?
On it.
Because if I'm wrong, I'd prefer to be corrected now and not let it stretch out.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. I'm just looking up Bib Fortuna under Wikipedia. He's a male Twi'lek. He is a Twi'lek.
Oh, so he is a Twi'lek. Okay. So I'll go with the
Twi'lek Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, I'll go with him as a marquee, and then upgrading of four other characters.
All right.
Well, but I want to know, do you guys think there's a conquest character in the future, like after Swallow? Because right around when Swallow is released officially and everyone gets him, it's time for a new one. That'll be right around when Jabba's getting released.
We're getting another character before, and then we'll get another ship after that.
And then we'll get a ship.
So, character-wise, it makes sense to get Admiral Sloane from The Force Awakens for Kylo Ren.
Why does that make sense?
First Order?
Mm-hmm. But we're getting a new GL, so wouldn't that make people want to, wail harder on something that's new other than...
No, because it expands the time. He's the guy who shot Hux.
Okay, all right. Gotcha.
I'm going to unplug you during the break. Gosh.
Only when you talk about Force Awakens. That's when you should hit mute on me.
Yeah,
any new First Order character. I want to be the First Order officer that was portrayed by Adrian Edmondson. Yeah.
But it's going to be Snoke.
So I can tweet to him. He's in a Star Wars video game, and just wait for the hilarious Twitter response because he's a comedian.
Adrian Edmondson.
He's like it's like when we saw Bill Burr in The Mandalorian, because Bill Burr's he's a comedian. He's a stand-up comic, but obviously he plays Mayfeld in that's Adrian Edmondson. Adrian Edmondson's like comedy royalty in the United Kingdom. So any part in a movie with him in it is just instantly awesome. And so he was in the Yo Mama scene, at the start of episode 8.
Thaddeus says BB9E. That would be interesting. That
would be an interesting one.
Can I just get a Babu Frick? Come on.
Hey, yeah.
or roasted pork Chewy. We need another Chewy. One with like a
Oh
pork
God,
in his
no!
hand.
Don't curse us with another Chewie. Although I am happy with another Lando.
Erdison Peavy was the character that your beloved comedian played.
Ah, there we go.
So, all right. And so I am being told, sadly, that Cain, 5 minutes ago, just finished up work. So we're going to have Logan on again. We're still going to keep with the Old Man Cantina podcast. We're going to have Logan on. If Cain can join us before everything goes out, I'll readjust the screens. We'll have both of them on at the same time. So, in fact, you know, those on the live one get to see. Okay, cool. I'll fix that when it's time. All right. Anything else before we go, Bob?
Nope. You guys did amazing. I'm proud of you. You got through another week with minimal mistakes.
All right.
Thanks to me.
Yes, especially last week.
Yes. What would you guys do without me? Thank God I'm here.
The same thing we did last week. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after these messages with the incoming transmission right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with additional features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Back to school. The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Uncle Thad. And what an episode I have for you today. Today, not only will we take a look at the next marquee character for the Jabba the Hutt galactic legend, but we were also going to take a look at the first Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary celebration character. And when I say the first character, that means there will be more. Quite possibly many, many more. So without further ado, let's take a look at Skiff Gaurd Lando Calrissian and where he fits in the Star Wars universe. Lando Landonus Balthazar Calrissian was a human male born on the planet Socorro somewhere between the years 43 and 31 BBY. He was a smuggler, professional gambler, entrepreneur, military general, lounge crooner, and absolute intergalactic heartthrob. Just as famous, if not more so, as his Rebel Alliance counterparts, Lando was known the galaxy over. While some of his stories can be verified as canon, many of his greatest exploits are things of legend. Lando's early years are a bit hazy, made fuzzy by history and his own personal embellishments. He both won and lost the Millennium Falcon in games of sabacc. With the help of his droid companion L337, Lando moved from one job to the next, gambling and smuggling and wooing and just being a dashing man about space. After a fairly eventful early life, Lando decided to take an early retirement and play sabacc full-time. Calrissian would be pulled out of this early retirement when an old acquaintance, Kira from Crimson Dawn, called for the gambler and his droid companion to aid them in stealing coaxium from the Pike Syndicate on Kessel. Kira needed the fastest ship, and Lando had the Falcon. It was here that Lando Calrissian and Han Solo would meet for the first time, and as you're probably aware, the Kessel job didn't go as planned, leaving L337 nearly dead and the Falcon close to ruins. Lando left Kira and her crew deserted on a planet. But the next time Lando saw Han, he would lose the Millennium Falcon to the Corellian youth. Time passed and Lando found himself serving as Baron Administrator on the Tabana gas mining facility at Cloud City on the planet Bespin. But running a legitimate business in the time of the Empire was not as lucrative as Lando would have liked. All it took was one bad deal with a Dark Lord to make Lando realize that there was more to life than making money. After the events of Cloud City, Lando promised Princess Leia and Chewbacca that he wouldn't rest until he recovered the frozen body of their friend Han Solo. It's this Lando that is coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and with that, let's take a look at Lando's kit and see how it matches up with a character we know from canon. Skiff Gaurd Lando is a cunning scoundrel attacker who assists his allies and gains stacking damage the longer he stays undercover. Lando's basic ability provides him the deep cover mechanic. It's this ability that allows him to get behind the enemy's defenses and penetrate those defenses deeply. And if there's one thing that Lando is good at, it's deep penetration. Lando's first special ability takes advantage of the use of the BD Cutter Vibro Axe, which was a sophisticated melee weapon. It had a vibrating head, hollow Durasteel shaft, and dampeners to reduce unnecessary vibration. It had a quick release switch that helped the user stay in the fight. With this heavy rod in Lando's hands, he can penetrate the enemy's armor deeply, vigorously, and do a great deal of some real damage. Lando's second special ability shows his commitment to saving his friend Hawn. While Lando was in Jabba's employ, he had to work with the Hutt's minions. So, this ability helps both the dark side allies, who were also part of the Hutt cartel, and the light side allies, who were around to help liberate Hawn. Now, Lando's only unique ability seems to have everyone on his team penetrate deeply, but maybe not as deeply as him, because no one penetrates like Lando. Well, that's it for me, folks. Stay tuned next week for more Storytime with Uncle Thad on the Escape Podcast for Kids. Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways wants you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Quirky K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod Cast.
Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention. Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Kane's not here, but his buddy is. Paul, introduce our guest.
Well, you guys, we talked about him, what was it, 3 weeks ago? Old man Logan, 76, is back with us. We were supposed to talk about Cain. And I'm glad you're here, so why don't you introduce your years-long buddy?
Well, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for inviting Cain. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. Duty calls. He got hung up in his profession. And again, folks, real life happens. Sometimes SWGOH has to take a back seat. I respect him for that. He was disappointed, but I'm here in his stead. So unfortunately, you got to look at my ugly mug for the next 15, 20 minutes. So I had the pleasure of meeting Cain back in 2009 at Fort Riley, Kansas, in the 2nd of the 32nd Field Artillery Unit, 1st ID, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team. We served together. We deployed together. I've known the man for a very long time. He's not just, I was going to say he's my best friend, but he's not just my best friend. He's my brother. Again, we deployed together. We served together. We've always stayed in contact. Our families have always been close. I started the Old Man's Cantina out of fun, and I did the first couple episodes by myself. And being a 9.4 million account, I felt like I was kind of only targeting one audience.
So yes, tell us about Cain's account.
Cain's account, well, Cain is 70,000, about 69, 70,000.
Baby Neil.
Yeah. Yeah, he just started. He is, Neil, free to play.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Well, I mess with him. I keep waving that hyperdrive bundle in front of him like, dude, it's only $100. You can do it. You make decent money. It'll bring you, because I have a segment in my show where I go over GAC, and I feel bad because he sits there looking at me like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I know.
What level is he at right now?
Oh my God. I'm actually about to look. I think he was about to hit 65.
Okay, so he still has about another 2 months to go on a account that small, Neil?
Yeah.
It's less than that. It's less than that. It depends how much activity. It really does depend. You got to remember, to get to 85, he's got to collect XP, so he's got to use energy, and he's got to do dailies.
Yeah, he's currently sitting at 69,950. His highest starred character he has. Wow, he's got quite a bit at 4-star. I mean, he's going through the motions. I know, right? I sound like such an elitist. He's got some at 4-star. But no, he's doing his dailies, he's doing his thing, and he is free to play. And it's funny, a lot of our listeners that have been checking out our podcast, one individual in particular, and Nev, I wanted to run this by you if he's still free to play. Some of our listeners have set up a GoFundMe page for Cain to get him the hyperdrive bundle. And he is a hair's breadth away from meeting that requirement. So if he gets that and does it,
he is not free to play.
He is not. But here's the thing. Wait. I created a. It's not like a category. It's a free to play, but you get your hole punched.
Okay. No,
the card is so it's not a pristine free to play card. You get to keep your free to play card, but it gets a hole punched in it.
All right, I've heard you say that.
The only legitimate way, everything has got to be done in game. The only legitimate in-game way, okay, to get a bump start on an account is to hoard on it.
See,
I did that. I did that for 3 months, so that and it only gave me a boost to around about level 60.
See, you know what you've just done, right?
What?
He's going to listen to this when he gets home from work. He's going to get home. He's going to pour himself a cocktail, well earned. He's going to get in front of his computer. He's going to turn you guys on. He's going to see you two, and he's going to see me, and he's going to hear what you just said. And then he's going to tell that listener to cancel that. That's what he's going to do.
That's what he's going to do.
Yeah. And I give him all the credit in the world. Like I joke on my show quite a bit that I'm so glad this game didn't exist in my 20s because I'd be broke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a financial irresponsible disaster. It wouldn't have worked out well. And I'm sorry, at 9.4 million, you don't get there. I'm sure there may be some people, but I've spent more than I care to admit on air. So, but the fact that he does that, I give him so much credit. And
but he's experiencing it a way, and that's what I like about this. He's experiencing it in such a way that somebody now can come relate to him, and he will be their measuring stick, their idol, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I love about Cain. I do, sometimes the conversations can veer off to more mid to end game content. I try to reel it back in and go, hey, Cain, like, what do you like in your, because that man has more experience in video games. I mean, he has a degree in it, in design. And I mean, he has a lot of knowledge. He's played a lot of games like this that in some respects are pay to win. And he's done a lot of that. And interestingly enough, for those listeners that may be just starting out, he's not going for a GL out of the gate. He wants Star Killer.
It's much easier to get.
And
it's much easier to get.
And you know what? At first, I was like,
"What? Tell him. I mean, he can go. He can go for Star Killer out the gate if that's what he wants to do. But he should, if he wants Star Killer to be at his best,
he needs
he needs Palpatine.
Yes,
he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to go for Palpatine. And get those wascally webbles for the event.
Yeah, not the whole C. We're talking original Palpatine.
Original Palpatine, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Solo Base 15. We had him on the show, and I was very grateful for him to be on.
Gambit is a great group.
Yep, and I believe Cain had told him that Star Killer was his first choice, and Solo actually said, well, I think he said that he echoed the same thing, that if you get Palpatine, you don't necessarily need Visas Mar at least that early, but if you can get a decent Star Killer, plus you're going to get 4 other solid tunes between Dash, Mara Jade, he very well could potentially dominate in GAC, because the requirements for a legend are so much.
Well, you've already got your light side Jedi already keyed up with Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
So you get Palpatine. Obviously, you're going to use Mara. You got Mara as the Emperor's hand. Then you've got your Star Killer. Then you've got your Kyle Katarn.
And you get Vader as you play.
All you need is your light side Ufu. That's it. That's all you need is your light side Ufu. And obviously, you're going to need to work on a killer set of mods for that squad. But that one squad does have a lot of potential.
No, absolutely. And in
3v3 he'd be unbeatable. All he'd have to do is
Star
Killer and Mara on the front, you know, on the front. So yeah, if he goes for Star Killer first, then I mean, if I was talking to him now directly, I'd be like, you also need to go for the Executor, you know, because if you can have a team stop on the front bottom and a team stop on ships and restrict your opponent to one single territory, you know, you only need enough squads to clear 2 territories. You know, screw ships. Just think about either what's on in front of door number 1 or door number 2, or door number 2 and what's behind door number 2. You know, and then you don't need to think of as many
absolutely
squads.
And actually, the last guest we had on was Gridden, and Gridden gave a nice piece about mods, which really, and I remember he was on, and Gridden was talking about mods, and Cain, I could tell he'd do this, he'd go, and I could tell he was writing. And I think that's, you know, with datacons and everything that's happening, I feel like a lot of people are forgetting the importance of mods, and I've told Cain that you're still really early. Like, datacons is not even something you should even be on your horizon right now, but mods is an aspect of this game, and if anybody can do it, Cain will. Mods is an aspect of this game that you need to master to really equalize your squads of what you want them to
the early game players are going to be able to take full advantage of the fact that mod challenges are going to reward 100% 5-dot mods with every single SIM card.
Yes.
So from an early game perspective, somebody starting out just around now, just before that update gets made, are going to be hitting mods with the ability to always receive a 5-dot mod from mod challenges.
And I told Cain the same thing.
Problem is, will he be making a decent enough crystal income in order to do 3 refreshes every single day? Because to be competitive, you need to do 3 refreshes every single day.
And that's where the free-to-play aspect becomes tempting to break, because when you're not making that income and you see the progress you could make with the $4.99 purchase of this many crystals or the $9.99, and he's held very firm, but I have to applaud you guys for the interview that you had with Crumb, because when he dropped the news about the 5-dot mods, when you get to the end of each sector, I remember after I listened to you guys, I messaged Cain and went, dude, you need to get on those mods. You need to get on them like right now. Like, your focus needs to be completing those sector. Well, you know,
here's the thing: the early there's a lot to be said about the changes that get made in the game that help the early game player, because with this last final change to mod challenges, it makes mod challenges infinitely easier for begin players than for it was when I did them. I had a specific faction for a specific mod, and sometimes you just wouldn't get the number of you got crap mods. It was just crap after crap, and it was a pain in the ass because you had to go for 5 factions. Now it doesn't matter what faction,
right?
And you're always going to get 5-dot mods.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's really kind of unique about our podcast that we try to implement, is that, you know, Cain has actually asked me on several occasions, well, dude, I want to do this event, or I want to go this way, or I want to do that. What do you think I should do? And I literally sit there and do this and go, I don't know, because I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm sorry. I want to help you, brother, but like when he when he starts getting, like, when he starts going after Thrawn and Palp and all these other, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't remember what I did. And
here's the thing: for an early game free-to-play player that wants to try and get as much out of it as possible, It may be it's defunct now from a competitive perspective. It no longer works. So it's not a farming guide for someone who is free to play that wants to be competitive. It's not going to happen. You're way too behind. You cannot be competitive at a free to play level in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes if you're new to the game. It is not going to happen. It just isn't going to happen. But the 5-pillar system is still a good all-round farming system. It's all good. I did it in a year, back when it was geared up to be a competitive system. It's not anymore, but it's still good because it gives you a grounding in a lot of characters needed for multiple aspects of the game. More so because there are more aspects to the game now than there was back then. Back then, there weren't anywhere near as enough assault battles. There wasn't conquest. There wasn't challenges. And in order to do well, even at a low level, and get those lower tier rewards, you still need to have a plethora of factions, and the 5-pillar system does do that.
Cass says, I put it on auto and walked away for the last level of Thrawn. So, I'm really sad that Cain wasn't able to be here personally.
I am too.
But why don't you describe, other than the account, there's another reason you chose him to be your host, and other than the fact that you've served with them, but you wanted to bring him on in a professional entertainment way. Why?
I think a lot of it has to do with it's not like and I know there are some content creators that I've heard where some people have never met, or they haven't known each other as long as Cain and I have. I thought it was really an aspect of rapport. Like, Cain and I can we feed off each other, and like, I can be talking about something and he knows where I'm going, and he can tell. He just knows from years of playing poker and having cocktails and being absolutely miserable in the field, and the freezing cold, or 100 some odd degree heat in Iraq, or whatever it is. We have that rapport with one another where we feed off each other. Like, he can say things to me, I can say things to him. Neither one of us get offended, because if you get offended in the Army, then you shouldn't be there. So it's just one of those things. I chose him because he's a gamer. He's my brother. We know how to talk to one another. We know how to entertain. We're both humorous. We both have a sense of humor. We both have ridiculous amounts of pop culture. Like, for instance, For instance, a weekend or so ago, I was in Boston, and I went to a fan con, and I met Billy Zabka and Martin Coe from Cobra Kai. And I sent him pictures, and he told me to go F myself. Like, that's my boy. That's just, it was one of those things where he's like, and of course, my nickname in the Army was Bacon. That's a long story. But
actually, you promised to tell the story the next time you came on. Let's move the promise to the next time when we have both you and Cain on.
You know what? Then we will do that, because believe it or not, folks, whoever, all you folks that are listening, that is a funny story. But no,
or you could just invite us onto yours and tell us that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Having you guys in the cantina would be a hoot. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. You're on.
You would get the version of Nev that is saved for the after show.
Yeah, you would get the after. You would get the loose tongued.
Yeah.
loose-lipped.
Both of us.
But there is one real quick. There is one aspect of Cain's game that I talked to him about, and he said this is how he's going to approach it. That anybody that listens to your show, I really think it's important. I remember telling Cain, I'm like, all right, dude, you're going to get into this game. There's 6 GLs, 8 if you count Star Killer and Malgus. If you're competitive in GAC, there's technically 8. You've got events, you've got dailies, you've got territory wars. Like there is 10 tons of nonsense that you have to 4x4 down this road of nonsense to engage to be competitive. And I remember Cain said something to me that was very telling about his personality. And he went, Bacon, I just love Star Wars and I want to have fun. And I think that gets lost with a lot of players of, I got to spend money. I got to compete. I got to get all the Datacons. I got to get the Omicrons. I got to get the Zetas. I got to get this. I got to get that. And Cain said to me, dude, I want to have fun with you. I want to do the show. I want to laugh. I want to play the game. And I just want to have fun. And that is extremely telling of his character.
Well, just before you go, I'll make a final offer because it would be fun. It would definitely help him along. One of my old alt accounts, it's very near and dear to me. It's the one that I started my content creator stuff on way back in 2018. The Pom-Pom-tastic account.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it is 100% free to play. Because I am 100% free to play.
Really?
There's 365 episodes.
Never free to play? No.
There's 365 episodes of that account being created. The first 365 days. I think I stopped playing it and retired it at 4 mil GP. So it would be capable of going straight into
whatever
Conquest Hard.
Yeah.
It would qualify him to do whatever he wants. It's going to be in a very, very, very low division of the GAC leaderboard. You know, it's going to be way, way, way down there. I literally I think the last time I played it, it was kind of my alt account that I would play with Fleet. So it's got a lot of relict crew. It's got a lot of ships that are relic crew.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of ships. I mean, it's got like relic Bistan, relic SR. But this was before it was even cool to do them. You know, this was before it was cool to do them. So he would have a kick-ass Mon Mothma team if he went for a Mon Mothma team. So, but extend the offer to him because I can transfer that one to him. It'd be fun to see it get used again.
And you know what? That is the reason why I love this community and podcasting and doing this, because I mean, Paul, you've given us an immense help trying to get our podcast off the ground, and Nev, you just offered that. So I mean, you know, you're the man.
Is he going to be available? Is he going to be available for the after show?
Christ, I hope so. I mean,
because if he's available for the after show, what I'll do is I'll fire up old Pom-Pom-tastic.
Okay.
I'll give him permissions in Discord, and also if you're a Patreon, you can do that too.
If anything, right now, Homeboy's doing about 80 miles an hour down the back roads of Texas, trying to get his ass home.
And he still won't get pulled over because it's the back roads of Texas.
Exactly.
I'm just checking to see if it's actually on the tablet now. It's been that long.
Well,
since I logged into that account.
We'll come back to it. We'll definitely, look forward to seeing how that goes. We're gonna go to a break. The latest episode of Dickie and the Noob. If you didn't catch it last week, catch it this week. It's a fun one. We'll be right back after these messages right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with additional features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena Tracking Bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Previously on Dickie and the Noob, and now the continuation. Don't freak out, Noob. I had Yarmo install a multiverse drive on your motherboard. All we need is to find a reality where Hondo isn't missing, and boom, we've got him.
Not as confused as I am about the fact that we are now made out of blocks.
Whoa, we are. This is pretty different. Rowan, do you know somebody by the name of Hondo Onaka by any chance?
I do! I know exactly where to find him.
Seriously? Can you bring us to him?
Follow me!
And now...
Dickie, why did you summon me? Do you have any progress to finally report?
I do. I actually found Hondo.
Seriously?
Yeah, I found him hiding in the multiverse.
Multiverse. So, is this even our Hondo?
Well, he's a little different.
What do you mean a little? That is a Lego minifig.
I assure you, I am the real Hondo Onaka.
In your whole minifig world, maybe, but I can't scan a Lego Hondo onto the HoloTables. That won't work. Besides, the royalty fees would be astounding.
Royalty fees? You've never heard of piracy? Now that is the way.
Piracy. You're an inch and a half. How would you even fight?
That is a fair point.
Look, Dickie, I'm pouring a lot of crystals into financing this expedition. I'm expecting better results than this. I want Hondo on my HoloTables now. Do you have any leads?
We did find his daughter.
His daughter. Can she fight?
Well, she fights with Noob all the time, but that's more with her mouth.
So I'm no closer to getting Hondo on the HoloTables.
Well, I think we have an opportunity. Hear me out. What gets a pirate's attention more than anything else?
I don't know. The sea?
Nah. Booty.
Fair enough.
And who has the biggest booty in the galaxy? Jabba the Hutt. And Jabba is finally coming to the HoloTables, and he's looking to put a crew together.
How does that help us?
We put up an announcement. Jabba is putting a crew together of the worst scum and villainy in the galaxy. Richest contracts Jabba has ever put out. There's no way Hondo will be able to resist coming out for that.
All right, I see where you're going. I like it.
All right, I'll get started right away.
Great. Don't mess this up. You two be nice to each other, damn it.
Wait. Was that Paul?
Yeah.
And he didn't even want to say hi to me. How rude. I always love to hear that guy's voice. There's something so familiar about it, you know?
Yeah, well, we're really busy. We gotta get to business right away, Noob. We gotta get a dispatch out ASAP. Would you rather bare knuckle box a Wookiee than fight Rey one more time? Would you rather drink whatever disgusting milk Luke does rather than fight him again? Would you rather milk Kylo Ren's nipples and have to endure one more battle with him? Does a battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi make you doubt the existence of any sort of deity? Does the idea of fighting Anakin again make you want to lock yourself in your room with a My Chemical Romance CD? Does all of the Sith make you lose all of your dank ferrix? Well, don't just stand there feeling sorry about it. It's time for a new sheriff to come into town. That's right, Jabba the Hutt is entering the holotables and is poised to take down the meta. But what he needs is you. He needs you to come help in the fight. So don't just sit there. Join in and become a member of the Hutt Cartel. Open auditions will be held next month on Tatooine's Got Talent. That's right, we're going to be testing all of your scoundrel skills, whether it be shooting, lying, stealing, deception. Prove that you have what it takes to help Jabba take over the meta. And best of yet, this will be the biggest contract Jabba has ever put on the table. So come collect your bounty next month, right here on Tatooine's Got Talent. Only the worst scum and villainy need apply. Pirates preferred.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Patreon's Choice. Patreon's Choice. Do we have questions, Paul?
We have a bunch of questions. So,
good.
Patreon's only questions. Zaz for this week, top 3 Brad Pitt movies.
Oh God, that's a tough, because he's done a lot of good ones, but
he's
done a lot of complete and utter stinkers. Seven is a good one.
Ocean's 11.
Yeah, Ocean's 11's a good one. Yeah.
World War Z.
I didn't like World War Z. I didn't like him in that. I thought he was it just wasn't all there. I just didn't think he was all there for that one. Played it too straight. Okay. For me, let's see.
And ironic that you might now. Fight Club is also a Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, no, I was gonna.
Okay.
I was about to say Fight Club, 12 Monkeys. I thought it was great in 12 Monkeys. Oh, but I mean, he had Terry Gilliam as his director, so it was early in his career, and he had Terry Gilliam directing him. So it was a great performance. 12 Monkeys was an awesome performance, and I will say, what was the? Oh, there was a. Oh God! It's
Help me!
It's with Anthony Hopkins and
Spy Game.
No,
not Spy Game.
He's deaf. Who is? Oh, let's go with Spy Game, because that is a great one, because that's Robert Redford. The movies that he's really, really good in have got really good directors. It's not like an action movie director. It's a Terry Gilliam, Robert Redford.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. What's the next one?
Top 3 Lawrence Fishburne movies.
Oh, Boys in the Hood. Event Horizon. Oh God, King of New York.
Okay. Matrix. I'm going to have to also go with Mission Impossible 3. Oh man, I can't think of a third one. So I'm searching for Bobby Fischer. That was a good movie.
Okay.
All right. Top 3 quirky and unusual characters from books you've read. Thrawn.
Okay.
I mean, the author of Fight Club, if you will, the narrator. And
yeah, the book is actually better than the film.
Yeah.
The ending of the book is so different from the film. When I read the book after watching the film, I was like, "Oh my god, why didn't they do this in the movie? This would have been such a the ending in the book is so much better than the end of the movie."
And then no, it definitely it's my third
it was
one.
Meet Joe Black.
What's my third one? I would probably have to go another Chuck Palahniuk book, Choke. The protagonist in that one was hella quirky.
So ask me the question again.
Top 3 quirky and unusual characters from books that you've read.
Quirky and unusual. I see. I got to think about books now, but it's the way it's the way that he wants them. How I would describe a character as quirky or unusual. Well, I'll say Tag and Bink because it's still the written word.
Does that count as 2?
No. I suppose you could. No,
if you didn't want to do 3.
If I didn't want to do 3. I will say Dobby, obviously, from the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Very, very quirky and unusual. And let's see, can I quirky and unusual, something else from another. So I read things like Tom. I read books like by Tom Clancy, thriller, espionage, and horror novels by Sean Hudson and James Herbert. But they didn't really have quirky characters in. I've never really read a genre that would have quirky or unusual characters in them.
We'll just move on. You start this one.
We'll just move on, yeah.
Top 3 Goldie Hawn movies.
Private Benjamin, Overboard, and I thought she was quite funny in Death Becomes Her as well.
Okay,
I did think she was absolutely. She was funny in that.
That is one of my top
don't get me
3.
wrong. She was funny in Private Benjamin, and she was funny in Overboard. But those were more fun and whimsical.
Yes,
movies. They're good popcorn movies.
Death Becomes Her, First Wives Club, and then the last one. You forgot to mention Bird on a Wire.
Oh God, yeah, Bird on a that's a good one. Bird on a Wire is a good one.
Top 3
with Mel Gibson.
Top 3 TV series that were canceled too soon. The Mole, The Orville, and
it wasn't canceled.
It was canceled, and it's back. But I'm just saying it was canceled too soon.
Oh. But there was no way it was not going to come back.
Exactly.
By that logic, I would be saying Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it was cancelled at season 3, but brought back by Fox at 4, and then recancelled again at episode 5 at season 6, which was so annoying.
Right. So, and then the other one that was canceled too soon. And yes, I know it came back, but it's been a distance of time. That would have to be BattleBots.
I'll go with some. I'm gonna go with an 80s theme. I'm gonna go with an 80s theme here. The A-Team was cancelled way too soon, way too soon. So too was V. V was cancelled way too early. I loved that show when I was a kid. it got really, really cheap and trashy, and that's probably
why you liked it.
That's probably why. And Star Trek Enterprise, I was really getting into it by see, I wasn't a fan of season 1 and season 2, but season 3 and season 4, it was very not entirely dissimilar to Star Trek Next Generation.
And another thing is,
one wasn't a smack, it's like Parks and Recreation. Season 1 sucked, but every other season afterwards was incredible, But they didn't get cancelled.
Strange New Worlds. Did you go back and watch Strange New Worlds?
No, I haven't gone. I never went back to watch it yet. So I have.
You should.
Have no opinion.
You should. I'm echoing what your friend said.
Oh, you're echoing what my friend said. Yeah.
Yep.
I was. Yeah. The first three episodes of that. I don't know if it's.
It takes a little bit to establish the characters. Is all I'm going to say.
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't so much the establishment of the characters. It was. I wasn't getting the Starfleet feeling from it. From the show, but I'll give you an example. The original Star Trek, when orders were being issued on the bridge, they were just done. It's yes, captain, no, captain, 3 bags full, captain. It had that Starfleet element. The discipline required from bridge crew. And again, I didn't think that they would do it with Strange New Worlds. They did it with Discovery, which is one of the reasons why I didn't like it. They did the same thing with Strange New World. The crew, arguing and bickering, and I'm like, that's not Starfleet. There is a chain of command. I'm ex-military. There is a chain of command. It was like that with the original. It was like it with Enterprise. It was like it with Next Generation. The maintaining of discipline and that feeling of it, at the end of the day, it is Starfleet. And there's a chain of command. There's a hierarchy. It gets followed. But in this new stuff, all the crew of the bridge, they're constantly bickering and arguing with each other. It's like, no, that's not the way. So yeah. So it wasn't the character development that was bugging me. It was the characters that were bugging me in Strange New Worlds. That's why I stopped watching.
Cass has 2 questions. What is your weirdest trait?
Oh wow. What is my weirdest?
Weirdest trait.
Probably my stoicism. It really is. That sometimes people say things or I hear things, and a lot of the time my reaction is that there is no reaction. So things that would elicit an emotional response, my stoicism kicks in, and it's that's so where some people would be jumping for joy, I'm like, oh, that's very nice, isn't it? Just very reserved.
For me, it would be probably the fact that my senses are controlling my picky eating. I fully admit that I have my quirks, and it's tough to try a new food, but when I do, I finally do, and it's good, but just takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone from the kid that would only eat chicken nuggets and ketchup to having a wide variety of restaurants that I can go to. So
okay.
But that would be mine. The other one, if you could be any pet, why is it a cat?
If I could be any pet, why is it a cat? Because I would be a celebrity's pet, and I imagine being a celebrity's pet cat, because you've said that I'm a cat. I think that I would just get everything I wanted forever, and I would be living the life of luxury for a cat.
Why is it a cat? Because I can act like my dog Luke, not give a care in the world, just only come over to get head pats. That's why it's a cat. All right. Force Strong 1 says, just watched Batman 1989 for the first time in forever and just realized what the hell happened to Batman's no-kill rule.
Yeah, that is why I hate Tim Burton's Batman. He destroyed the franchise before it started. Oh, it's even worse. The Batman Returns, which again gets done by Tim Burton, and he does his annoying thing with movies. Don't get me wrong. The A Nightmare Before Christmas, mwah. But he tries to make Batman like a Nightmare Before Christmas. It's so frustrating. In Batman Returns, Batman literally kills somebody by blowing them up with a bomb. And I'm like, and this is like within the first 10 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, Tim, you're doing it again. Batman does not kill people. Yeah. So, yeah. Hate that man. Wrecked Batman in the 80s and the 90s.
All right. So, anything you once again, you have a chill weekend coming up.
Yes, I have a chill weekend, so I am going to stream GAC tomorrow morning.
I will make sure that Twitch is set up. Remind me in the after show, somebody. And
is that it for the questions?
That's it for this week's questions.
Excellent.
So Vault 37, there I could tell you once again we found the new Turtles game. We've been doing an escape room game that is really, really fun. Hopefully we'll maybe get in a stream at some point this weekend on Vault 37 Studios on Twitch. Other than that, I mean, we'll see what this next week brings for any details about the profundity.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Neil?
No, let's go. Let's
All
go,
right.
yo.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. We appreciate every single one of our supporters. Be nice to each other, damn it. Neil?
Push the button.
Don't mind if I do.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.